Good evening. The Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Board of Trustees is now convened in a regular board meeting on Monday, September 11, 2023 in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District, Mark Henry Administration Building located at 11440 Matsky Road, Cypress, Texas at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we're here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. This meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. Audience members may not participate in the meeting outside the designated agenda items for citizen participation or public comment. Disruption of the meeting by any person, including the audience, is inappropriate and will be addressed by the board president or the board's counsel as a meeting parliamentarian. Continued or repeated disruption of any board meeting by words or action may result in removal or loss of the privilege to attend this meeting. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on the district website. They will also be available as video on demand on the district website following tonight's meeting. For the video to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that you find your cell phone. As I am, make certain it's been turned off. Thank you for taking the time to join us and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. We have no scouts with us this evening. We do have a representative of elected official. Grace Handley from Representative Dr. Tom Oliverson's office is with us again this evening. Grace, if you would stand up, show us where you are. Thank you for being here. At each open meeting of the board, patrons who have registered in accordance with the procedures established by BED regulation may address the board during the designated agenda comments period prior to the board's consideration or action on the item. Unless the agenda is otherwise rearranged by the board president during the meeting, agenda comments will generally be taken prior to each agenda item. Also, in accordance with the procedures established by BED regulation, patrons may address the board during citizen participation on any matters of interest or concern that are not posted agenda items. Unless the agenda is otherwise rearranged by the board president during the meeting, citizen participation will generally be held after reports and action items. For detailed information and instructions on registering to speak under agenda comments and citizen participation, please go to the district website at www.cfisd.net. Patrons who have registered to speak this evening may see the order of the names listed on the screen behind me. Before your name is called, please move forward and sit in one of the two reserved seats on the front row to my right. When you approach the podium, and as you can see, there are two, one to my right and one to my left, you will see a monitor inside the podium. When it is your time to begin speaking, a digital presentation timer will be displayed at the top of the monitor. The timer will be set in accordance with the number of speakers registered this evening. There will be a 30-second and 15-second warning light on the monitor to remind you to wrap up your comments. The invocation for tonight's board meeting will be given by Reverend Heather Tollison, Senior Minister for First Christian Church, Katy. Reverend Tollison has served First Christian Church, Katy for 11 years. She graduated with her undergrad and master's degree from TCU and is currently working on her doctoral project. Reverend Tollison is a graduate of Cypress Falls High School and loves being back in the area she grew up in and serving a congregation committed to creating justice and equality in our community and beyond. Thank you, Reverend Tollison, for being here tonight. Before the invocation, I would like to introduce the Cypress-Fairbanks High School Air Force JROTC cadets who will be presenting the colors this evening. Carrying the U.S. flag is Color Guard Commander Cadet Major Valerie Nestor. Carrying the Texas flag is Cadet First Lieutenant Cassandra Perez. The U.S. Guard is Cadet Captain Shane Garza, and the Texas Guard is Cadet Captain Jordan Frederick. These cadets present the colors to you under the direction of Major Jerome Frederick and Technical Sergeant Marvin Waterman, both retired. And before the invocation, I would ask that each of you please stand for a moment of silence in observance of September 11, 2011, and to recognize this National Day of Service and Remembrance. Please remain standing for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you join with me in prayer? Holy and divine Creator, on this day where we remember the ways in which our differences can create violence and turmoil and pain and hurt, may you give us hearts and minds and spirits and eyes to be a unifying leader, creating safe spaces for students to fully realize their potential and to become exactly who you have called them to be in this wonderful place. May you give our leadership the eyes and hearts and willing spirits to represent those whom they give voices to, and continue to create these safe spaces and continue to give voices for even the least of these. For all of our students who are still finding their voices, for all of our students who are claiming their places, we give you thanks. Thanks for their unique giftedness, and thanks for all the ways in which they have been created to be bountiful humans in this world. Continue to help us guide and lead with integrity and create a space of wholeness for all. We pray in your presence and name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I will now read the district's vision and mission statement. Our vision at CFISD is formed from the acronym LEAD, to learn, empower, achieve, dream. LEAD. Our mission is to maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders. We will now proceed with the remarks and recognitions portion of the agenda. There are no speakers under this topic for this evening. 1A, the superintendent will make remarks and announcements regarding the honors and achievements earned by staff and students in recent weeks and provide information regarding district and community events or items of interest. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President, trustees. CFISD welcomed back more than 118,000 students on the first day of school on August 28th. We also opened our 58th elementary school, Brosnahan Elementary, and our 20th middle school, Sprague Middle School. Please enjoy this brief video showing the highlights. I'm here at Roy Sprague Middle School today, and it's our 20th middle school. It's a beautiful, brand new, modern school that I've walked around the campus that I already see our young people enjoying. It's a pretty full campus already.
This is such an exciting day for us. It's a little surreal, honestly, seeing the educational village being complete.
It's a reality when you walk up here and you see your name on the building and knowing the kids are coming here the first day. It's very exciting, and it's just such an honor.
It was wonderful seeing the families walk in, and really there were a lot of families brought their children today because Dr. Silliman, the principal, just invited everybody for the very first day.
So excitement for sure is one of the biggest emotions because we have a new building for the returning students and staff to be in. It's updated, it looks beautiful, and so there's a curiosity with that too. The students have not been into the building before today.
We're welcoming back our Ram Nation. We're really excited. The staff has been amazing, our students have been amazing as I've been meeting with them. Really excited to get this going.
The bringing out the best character trait for the month of September is concern for the common good. Thank you to all of our campuses for emphasizing strong character for all CFISD students. More than 200 volunteers and 35 business partners and faith-based organizations volunteered as bus buddies during the first 2 days of school, August 28th and 29th, helping transport our new riders safely from school. Thank you to all of our bus buddies. CFISD earned more than $44,000 in school supplies from Kroger's Backpack Boosters School Supply Drive, held during a 2-week period in August. The school supply kits have been distributed to each elementary Title I campus, putting essential supplies in the hands of students on the first week of the school year. As you have already heard, the opening month of the 23-24 school year produced some notable memories. Please enjoy this August recap video highlighting how our students and staff brought out their best. Just a quick reminder that Monday, September 25th, is designated Teacher Workday and Student Holiday. The Guidance and Counseling and Advanced Academics departments invite junior and senior students and parents to the annual College Night scheduled for October 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Berry Center. This is a great chance to meet with representatives from hundreds of colleges, universities, and technical schools. Look for more details to come on the district website. I'm pleased to announce we have 2 new principals. I will turn it over to Christina Cole and then to Dr. Ify Agumake for those introductions. Christina.
Thank you, Dr. Henry, President Jackson, and Board of Trustees. I'm happy to announce our new principals to you and the CFISD community this evening. We have 2 principals to introduce, and we'll begin with our new principal for the Alternative Learning Center East, or ALCE, Mrs. Tanya Hall. Tanya has 19 years of experience in education. She served as a teacher in Bryan ISD before coming to Cypress-Fairbanks ISD and being hired as a teacher at Cypress Falls High School. She served as an academic achievement specialist at Cypress Springs High School and as an assistant principal at ALC East. Since 2021, Tanya has served as the Director of Instruction for ALC East. Tanya received her bachelor's degree from Sam Houston State University and her master's degree from Lamar University. During her 19-year career, Tanya has received extensive training in a variety of programs, including instructional strategies, classroom management, and leadership training. Tanya and her husband, Edward, have one child, Riley, who is a fifth grader at Swinkie Elementary. Tanya's father is a graduate of Cy-Fair High School, and her mother and brother both graduated from Jersey Village High School. Tanya is a proud graduate of Cypress Falls High School, class of 1999. In Tanya's free time, she enjoys watching Riley play softball, spending time with family, and reading. She loves traveling to tropical places with beautiful beaches and spending summers in Colorado. Please join me in congratulating Tanya on her new leadership opportunity.
So Ms. Cole gave me a quick tutorial, so I hope I work the microphone properly. I'm not too loud. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you this evening to the Board of Trustees, to President Jackson, and to, of course, Dr. Mark Henry. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. It is amazing to say that I've literally grown up in Cy-Fair. I'm just going to tell you, my family sitting on the second row, with the exception of my husband and my Uncle Terray and my grandma on the very end, have all been in Cy-Fair schools. Again, I literally grew up here. And I'm going to say this to her because she sent me a picture the other day of myself in high school. Dr. Stewart reminded me that I grew up in Cy-Fair just the other day. So I feel just truly blessed to serve CFISD in my new leadership role as the principal of ALC East. It is truly an honor to walk behind my friend and mentor, Andrea Lagarde. I'm not sure if she's here. I've learned so much about what it is to work with kids and keep them accountable working at ALC. Sometimes people get the wrong narrative, and so I feel like it's my job while there to change the narrative of my building. I'll say this, I brought my family. This is not all of them. We're a big bunch, but this is, I have my aunt who graduated from Jersey Village, like I said, my other aunt, Jersey Village, my other aunt, Jersey Village, my dad, my wonderful husband. He unfortunately was not raised in the city, so he was, I had to go get a country boy, and so this is where he is, Edward Hall Jr., and my lovely baby, Riley Hall. My mom is a graduate of Jersey Village, and then my grandma on the end. We call her Big Mama, so that's who that is. And then I have lots of people watching. Again, we're a big group at home, so hi, everybody at home. I'll just say this. I have staff members from ALC here. Again, I've transitioned from Director of Instruction to Principal, so they've seen me work. They've seen me be present at ALC East, and so I just want to say to them, thank you. For being here. And I just want to say to them, my only promise is that I will work every day and let my actions show you my commitment to you and the students in our building. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your faith in me as I step into this new role. One of the things that we talk about with children is we talk about a village, needing a village to support kids, but I'll say as adults, we need a village too. And so I have a lot of people in that right corner that left corner who are my village in addition to my family. So thank you all for being my village, for supporting me, even when, sometimes it seemed as if it was for naught, but I thank you again for being a part of my village. I told my daughter the other night, we were talking about select softball, which she plays and she loves. And one of the things we talked to her about is hard work and dedication and commitment. And I told her, she told Dad, she got upset a little bit at her game because she really wanted to play pitcher in the game. And I told her, just remembering the words of my grandma, my Big Mama, and remembering the words of my mom and dad, I told her, your gifts will make room for you. And so in transitioning from ALC as the director of instruction and leaning into this position of principal, I've allowed myself to say my gifts have made room for me. And so they're going to continue to do that because, again, I believe in working hard for kids and I believe in working hard for my staff. And I think they know that every single day when I walk through the building and I walk by every classroom just to say good morning, but also when a kid is needing something, I don't mind getting my hands a little dirty to help the students. So again, it is going to be an honor, or it is an honor, and it's going to be a great school year for us at ALC East. Again, our goal is to change the narrative. These kids are in a small timeout, but we're hoping that we can send them back to their home campuses in a better position. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Our next principal to introduce to you this evening is our new principal at Farney Elementary School, Tracy Jacobson. Tracy is in her 22nd year as an educator. She began her teaching career in Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. She taught at Sheridan Elementary, Burks Elementary, and Pope Elementary. Tracy served as a language arts instructional specialist for 2 years at Pope before moving to Sampson Elementary as an assistant principal. Since 2020, Tracy has been at Smith Middle School as the Director of Instruction. Tracy received her bachelor's from Texas Tech University and her master's of Education and Educational Leadership from Stephen F. Austin University. Tracy served on multiple committees and attended many trainings during her 22 years in education. She was also selected as Teacher of the Year on 2 different occasions. Tracy and her husband Rob have 2 children, Will and Ben, who both attended Burks Elementary, Warner Elementary, Smith Middle School, and graduated from Cypress Ranch High School. Will, who is now in Cypress, attended Texas Tech University, and Ben just started his junior year at Texas A&M University. Both of Tracy's parents are retired educators and now live in Georgetown, Texas. Tracy enjoys spending time with her family and friends, as well as reading and working in their garden. Please join me in congratulating Tracy on her new leadership opportunity.
Thank you, President Jackson, board members, Dr. Henry. I am beyond excited to be the new principal at Farney Elementary. Last week was my first week on campus, and I was greeted with such a warm welcome from every staff member and student. I received hugs, students told me jokes. I was able to get into classrooms and see the strong connections that teachers are already building with their students. And so I know that it is just going to be an amazing experience. It's already an amazing campus. I am so thankful tonight to have my husband, Rob, who will be 25 years tomorrow, who has supported me in every path I have chosen to take. My oldest son, Will, who has helped me move many classrooms and offices. He now just says, I know the drill, Mom. Tell me when to be there. Becky Cope, who has been my principal, my mentor, my coach for over 10 years, and several coworkers and friends from Smith and several coworkers from Farney. I appreciate you all being here so very much tonight. My youngest son could not be here this evening because he has class until 7 o'clock, and of course education comes first, so he was not allowed to skip class. My parents hopefully are watching from Georgetown if they can figure out how to live stream. I don't know. We'll see. They may have to watch the recording. But I have had the privilege of working for some amazing principals since I have been in Cy-Fair. I started with Dr. Carla Brosnahan. I worked with Heather Motsney. I'm so thankful she is here this evening as well. And of course, Becky Cope. And they have all shown me how to be servant leaders, you know, different aspects of being a servant leader. And I hope that I can carry everything that they have taught me into Farney. Farney has a lot of great traditions, and I hope that I can carry those on, be the servant leader that they have taught me to be, and we can continue to provide the most amazing education that every student that comes through Farney deserves. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
The board will now recognize industrial technology education students who have distinguished themselves by placing second in the software development team competition at the 2023 National Technology Student Association competition. To help in the recognition, and there are three of us up here at the board dais with an IT background. I cut my teeth writing software, but instead I will ask my two colleagues, Lucas Scanlon, Scott Henry, to step down to help recognize these students.
President Jackson, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry, it is a pleasure to present to you this evening Cypress Ranch Industrial Technology Education students who have distinguished themselves by placing second in software development high school team competition in the 2023 National Technology Student Association competition held in Louisville, Kentucky, June 28th through July 2nd. Students from across the nation were represented at the competition. Middle school and high school student members competed in more than 60 competitive events based on principles and concepts learned through projects during the school year in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics subjects. This year's conference theme, A Legacy of Innovation, was handpicked because of the lifelong impact TSA has on its members, and in turn, the impact members can have on the world around them. Several of these students were able to join us today. Students, please come forward when I call your name. The students who distinguished themselves are Shrivastava, Sanmay Sarada, and Siddharth Singh. Would the instructor, Mrs. Christy Grove, parents, and administrators from Cypress Ranch High School please stand to be recognized? Congratulations all.
The board will now recognize future business leaders of America students who have distinguished themselves by placing second in the digital video production team competition at the 2023 National FBLA competition. And to help recognize these students, I am going to ask Debbie Blackshear, former president and CEO of Cy-Fair Credit Union.
Good evening again, President Jackson, Dr. Henry, and Board of Trustees. Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, is the largest business, career, and technical student organization in the world that helps their members prepare for careers in business through many different leadership workshops and competitions throughout the year. Please help me recognize the following students from Cy Ranch High School for their outstanding achievement by earning the national title of second place in team digital video production high school level at the National FBLA competition that was held in Atlanta, Georgia, over the summer. At this time, would Karthik Ann and Vignesh Ann come up to be recognized? Thank you. A third, would the instructor, Mrs. Tracy Simmons, parents, and any administrators from Cypress Ranch High School please stand to be recognized. Congratulations to all. Thank you.
We will now proceed with board comments. But before we have our board comments, because they can last a while, we're going to take a 5-minute break so we can say thank you to our newly appointed principals and also congratulate our students who have achieved at such a very high level. So in 5 minutes. Yes. I certainly say that. Item 2A, board members may make comments during this portion of the agenda regarding schools visited, meetings and conferences attended, district and community events and initiatives, or continuing education. The board may not take action on items discussed. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. I will look to my right. Mr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, and welcome everyone, both in person and online. It seems like just yesterday we marked the anniversary of 9/11. And like many Americans, I was flying that day, only to be stuck in a city like most of others were as the cleanup began. My thoughts and my prayers go out to all the families and the loved ones who lost ones that day. My wish as an American and as someone who believes in civility is that we get back to that united time we all had, where now we're so divided. With the start of the new year, with kids back in school and both excitement, it's great to see all the extracurricular activities going on that we have to offer. From football to band to everything in between, it's truly exciting. It was exciting to attend also 3 different football games myself and cheer on our teams, both at home and in Fort Bend. I look forward to a very competitive football season this year and continue to cheer on our athletes and our band and our dance teams. I also volunteer in the Bus Buddies program and got to meet a very fabulous bus driver who took care of our loved ones in such a way, it's so humbling. My bus driver has been driving for over 20 years, and she also works with her husband, who's also a bus driver. This is what service is about to our community, the schools and the kids that make Cy-Fair so great. I look forward to visiting other district facilities, elementaries and middle schools and high schools this coming year, talking to our dedicated staff and hearing firsthand how they care for our next generation. Besides graduation, that's one of my favorite things to do all year long as a trustee. I hope everyone will take this opportunity to get involved with their kids, both in school and at home. Volunteering at school extracurricular activities is what truly makes a difference in a kid's life and a school's life. It takes a mighty number of volunteers, and your efforts are so greatly appreciated by all. I hope you all have a wonderful school year, and I thank you, and I God bless.
Dr. Natalie Blassingame.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. First of all, I do pay my respects to the many families that are still missing their loved ones on the 22nd anniversary commemoration on the attacks on our nation on September 11th of 2001. I remember that day keenly as I was a principal served with protecting 777 children and 96 staff members that day. School safety was critical that day and remains paramount in importance today. I commend our administration, our chief, our Office of Emergency Management for continuing to keep us on the cutting edge of excellence and thoughtfulness, and also facilities and construction, all the teams that really build a safe environment for our students as we continue to add layers. I also commend our legislature, which passed an impressive $1.1 billion in addition to $400 million and another chunk of cash that I don't remember the amount in order to enhance school safety. They say that the concern for safety is as high as it was after Columbine for parents, and we all understand that attendance drives our budget and having students enrolled in our schools. So I thank them for their work, and I continue to advocate for any measure that we can add. As a parent, I was concerned for this issue that was hit us locally in my own child's school, and I've quested to really understand what can we do to continue to add to school safety. And I would say that I'm an advocate for weapons detection software and weapons detection, and I want to commend again our district that has already been a forefront, a leader that has started to investigate what more can we add to be safe in our schools. So thank you on this day, September 11th, and every day. Thank you to our team, our staff on our campuses that are doing a diligent job of making sure that the doors are safe and everyone's trained well. So thank you to everyone for your part in safety. I also believe that even on September 11th, I'll say that we should teach our children proudly about our American heritage. As a first-generation immigrant and a first-generation college student, I definitely believe there's no other nation then that can carry the dreams and the promises of America, our one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And so I do believe in the American dream. I believe that the road is paved with excellent educational opportunities for all our students. And that's why I volunteer my time, and all of my colleagues do, to serve the students here in Cy-Fair, where we fight hard to provide every child, every day, a phenomenal path to that dream. To that point, I want to congratulate everyone on the first day of school. Before that, I was able to really celebrate transportation with the bus drivers as they kicked the year off. They were a very proud department, 71 hires since January. And they wanted to make sure, if I said, well, hey, well, how can I spread the word? To make sure that people understand that you can come get trained and get a CDL and be a driver for a district. And they have an 80% retention rate year after year in our transportation department, which is phenomenal given that that is a huge challenge getting bus drivers. You see them advertised everywhere in every system. So well done, Cy-Fair Transportation. Do you guys know that we're the largest, like the 12th largest in the nation? Do you know that we do a combined 87,500 miles twice a day? That literally at 45,000 miles done, that's like twice around the equator in a day on our school buses. So well done, bus drivers. And their speaker reminded them that they're not bus drivers, they're dream drivers. And I concur. Nutrition Services, do you know that they serve 20 million meals year after year, safely and efficiently? That's literally 113,000 meals per day served to our students. And of course, they also have a driving team and safety, warehouse, all the parts that go to Nutrition Services. So I commend them as well. We had a flawless beginning to the school year. Congratulations to administration, all those teams, as we really were able to jump right into the year with little concern. I also spent my first day, as I have for the last probably 11 years, at Hair Grove Elementary, where my old church and my current church, we have adopted Hair Grove Elementary for the past, I don't know if it's 11 or 12-year partnership, and that is an outperforming school, and it's an example of what can happen with amazing administration, beautiful staff members. Those people love kids. You walk the hallways, you feel it. Every year, year after year, you have people there smiling and really welcoming and loving their students well and holding them to high expectations, and they achieve for it. You all know, because Hair Grove was recognized right here in this room. But I left a list at home that I was so sad, but just literally going to my email, my personal email, and putting in Hair Grove. These are the kinds of things that church partnerships and school partnerships in general can do. And I challenge anyone out there to contact our community department and see how can you partner with the school. These are just some of the titles. Come mentor, come build bikes for the kids. Hey, can you cook in the kitchen? Meals for the tutorials camps. How about BizTown volunteers? Can you come to the clothing shop/drive that's for the parents at Christmas time? How about, come sort clothes? You know, it goes on and on. We have so many first-year blessing, mentoring, tutoring. I just really proud to be a part of a team that loves kids so well, those same faces year after year and new faces every year. So I challenge each group that's looking for a school to connect to, reach out to Calvary Community Church or Copperfield Church and Hair Grove Elementary and see what could it look like? What can it be? How can we partner well as a community with our schools and build success? And as we discussed on our workshop, we had a really, really lively discussion and really great information. And thank you to the administration for, we got our first glimpse of the outcomes from last year's STAR testing. And there's so much to be proud of. We are outperforming all the state and the region. In our scores, we continue to outperform in all areas. And we also do have areas that we can continue to grow in because we won't settle until every student. I noticed on the slide, opportunity for every student. So as we continue to challenge ourselves, we don't settle with being the best. We settle for every child achieving. And so I was pleased to see some really strong areas. Being ahead, and also Algebra 1 is incredible. Our Algebra 1, everyone from Linda to writing the curriculum to delivering the curriculum, all the ways that we've done that, that's a phenomenal outcome, especially given how many kids do algebra in 8th grade. So well done as a real relevant strength. There were some other areas. of strength. And there were also some gaps that we need to address in our achievement. We have a large 28 even points and more gap between our African American students and our white students in outcomes in reading and in math in different areas, and other gaps that have widened with the crisis of COVID and have widened with the new testing program. And students with economically disadvantaged students continue to be our challenge. And so I'm excited that this team can do anything, and this group and this community, if we come together, we can make sure that every student is able to reach the standards and achieve their full potential of the American dream. And so I'm proud to serve you as your board member. I'm proud to see that we can do the work together and continue to ask the hard questions so that we continue to improve each day. So thank you to each of you for your part.
Mr. Sarabia.
Welcome everybody here. Another school year has come upon us, and congratulations to the honorees, to principals and the honorees that were honored just before us. Want to thank all the volunteers throughout our district as I make my rounds, usually this time of the year, to different facilities, and I talk to many of the volunteers that are there that make the district what the district is. From working concession stands, from working jobs that no one has an idea what goes on behind the scenes to make everything successful. To our police officers who are everywhere on campus when you see them at the functions, we pray for everything and everything that you guys do for us to keep our children and employees safe as well. Throughout the district, visited with many of the employees, and usually my question is, how's everything going? And do you need anything? And do you have everything you need? And the answer is always a robust yes. We are fortified for the upcoming year, and we look forward to it. And the administration setting up their training and everything, they get ready to go. And then the following week, they're at their schools. And it's just, people don't realize how much y'all do. They just don't. And you guys do a great job, as evident of the show of our district and destination district as it is, though. Anyway, congratulations to everybody coming up in their new jobs as we have turnover throughout our district, but it's always a challenge. But again, we are very well prepared for the next steps and continuing the success of the district. Tom.
Now to my left, Mr. Scanlon.
Thank you, President Jackson. And my heart and prayers go out to families of those who have been affected by 9/11. Like most of us here, I remember where I was teaching, and I remember the look on my kids' faces a little bit later, and I knew people who were first responders, and thank you to all of our first responders. So, for all of our families that are now getting back in the groove of things, congratulations. I'm sure you're excited that your kids are back in school and enjoying time with their friends, learning again, engaging with their teachers, coaches, and learning new things. So it's a fun time. Thank you to all of our staff, both here at the DIAs and the hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds behind the scenes, and who have made this possible. As we were coming into our first day, I had the opportunity to serve with bus buddies, and I made sure I understood how the process worked of getting the kids onto the bus and the thought and care that goes into every single step our kids take, from the time they need to recognize that it's my moment to go to the school bus, all the way through the school, getting onto the bus, all the coordination that occurs. It is truly remarkable. So I encourage all of our parents and people that would like to understand that. It is very well done. It is very well organized. Thank you to our logistics teams, and it's an amazing effort. Truly well done. This week, it will be my honor to announce at the Cy Ranch game for the drill team and band halftime show. And so as I do so, respectfully, I remember someone else who did far more announcing in Butch Milks. And so as I do so, I'll be thinking of him and his legacy and do my best to keep spirits high and get, just be excited for our kiddos. So thank you very much to our staff, our teachers, for making Cyfair ISD what it is. We go nowhere without you. You're everything. So as always, we look forward to understanding how better we can serve, how better we get to volunteer for you so that you guys can do the job that you want to do. Thank you very much.
Ms. Blackshear.
Good evening. 9/11 always evokes a lot of memories. I can still remember that day clearly in my mind. I've forgotten a lot of things, but there's some things you just will never forget. And I remember pulling into the driveway at work and rushing into the credit union where our employees had already turned on the TV in the lunchroom, and all huddled back there, and just the feeling of just disbelief that something so horrible could happen in our country. And then I remember my church having a prayer vigil that evening for those lost and those suffering from injuries and for their families. And the feeling of patriotism that was so high, and the feeling of a unified front. And gosh, I'm like you, Scott. I miss those days. I miss that feeling, and I would love to see that come back in our country where we really were one country under God and not so divided. But anyway, they have been on my heart today, and I pray for their families. We've had a great start to school. I commend our principals, our bus drivers, our food service workers, our teachers, our paraprofessionals, janitors, all the people that go into making each school day successful for our students. It's not just one person. It takes all of us working together to create this. And I'm just so proud of this district and all the great things that happen. Dr. Blassingame mentioned STAR. I am so incredibly proud of our principals and our teachers for getting their students prepared for this test. As she stated, we not only exceeded the state in our scores, we exceeded Region 4, which is our group of school districts in our area. And that says a lot about the quality of education. This was a new STAR test for our students, and took, about 3 hours, Dr. Macias, for our students? And they were keyboarding, too. They had to take the test for the first time on their computers. So I think, considering, I refer to the last 2 years of the pandemic as probably the 2 hardest years in American history, especially for our school students, and what all that meant to them, first being able to come back to school from spring break, and then some learning from home, and some coming back to class. There were so many challenges that the pandemic brought to our students and to our district. But those notwithstanding, they have come through it and have proven again how resilient they are, and it's also notably proud of our teaching staff, our principals, and all the people that have worked so hard to make sure that our students have the resources they need to be successful. We're off to a great start. I have every feeling that it's going to be a great school year. Yesterday, we celebrated the dedication of the Dr. Mark Henry Administration Building, And we did it over in our new Visual and Performing Arts Center. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful building. And students performing, we had the Bridgeland Orchestra, the Bridgeland Choir, the Cook Middle School Choir, the Swinky Elementary Choir. All three choirs sang together, and the acoustics, and they were phenomenal. And our district-wide chamber choir sang the Star-Spangled Banner. It was just an incredible event honoring such a fine man, a great leader. I've had the privilege to work with, I guess, four different superintendents now during my time as a community leader. And I will say the leadership that Dr. Henry has provided us has just been outstanding and amazing. We continue to grow and do great things. And although he's kind of going off into the sunset to retirement, I am excited about the search for new leadership, and I'm sure that with the team we have in place here, we will continue to do great things in this district. Thank you.
Ms. Heineman.
Thank you. Thanks for being here tonight. It's so good to see some familiar faces and to see some brand new faces here this evening as well. We are off to a great start this school year, and Natalie mentioned mentioned the importance of connecting our community to our schools through school adoptions. And we've already had several adoptions this school year already, even just being the first couple of weeks of school. In fact, one of our student journalists in the audience, his byline was published at the district, and he was highlighting the adoption of Cy Creek High School, if I remember that correctly, by Home Depot. We're up to 75 of our campuses. So 75 out of 95 campuses have been adopted formally by either local businesses or local faith-based community organizations. So we're so very proud of these connections between our local public schools and our local businesses and churches. Since the last board meeting, I also volunteered as a bus buddy for this year, the 5th or 6th year, but it was so much fun. Bus buddies, as been mentioned, it's an opportunity for community volunteers to sit in the first row or two with our littlest learners and to help them. It's their first experience as going to school or to ride the school bus, and we wake them up gently if they've fallen asleep on that way home, because it's so tiring those first couple of days of school. It's tiring for everybody, but especially if you're little and you're used to taking a nap during the day. We dry some tears, we help them get off the bus, scan their badge on and off the bus, and it's a great experience and a great opportunity to get to know our bus drivers. I volunteered at Walker, Hemingway, M. Robinson, and Sheridan on those first 2 days of school. Also attended the professional development days, 3 of the days, at the Berry Center, and what a great way to welcome our teachers back into the groove. I heard overwhelming positive feedback about the professional development sessions that our teachers had access to that week here, either at the Berry Center or learning content specific instruction strategies to take back with them to their campuses. Also attended the Power Up Cafe, which is our nutritional services in-service. We are so grateful for all the folks who work behind the scenes in our food production, but then also in our cafeterias. I attended the Cy Ridge High School Pep Rally and banner reveal for their state and district championships. Cy Ridge y'all need to look out. They're up and coming. There's a lot of Ram pride in that community, and I was super excited to be a part of that celebration. As Natalie's mentioned, there was a Cypher ISD transportation in service. And if y'all think there's school spirit, you should think about transportation center spirit. They dress up, they cheer, they've got their cheers, their signs. It was fantastic. Great way to kick off the year. And our very own James Briscoe, who's the Director of Procurement Services, offered the inspiration to get everybody started. Let's see. Oh, I also attended the dedication yesterday of the administration building. I know we've recognized the students who performed. I want to add that in addition to the choirs and the orchestra, we had art students acting as docents to showcase their artwork in our art gallery in the building next door, as well as theater students and dance students from different campuses. But in addition to the students and all the namesakes and all the principals that were there, dignitaries. There was a very special group of people there for the dedication, and those were members of the Long Range Planning Committee. This was a group of about 50 people who came together from all across the district, parents, grandparents, retired folks, community leaders, yes, who spent hours looking at the needs of the district, looking at protecting our existing assets as well as where we needed new schools, but they identified that we needed a place for our students to showcase our fine arts, to be able to learn about lighting, scene development, all the production that goes behind a theater production, music, art, photography, film, and this vision came to life, and it was just such a joy to see their faces when they saw the building for the first time and to know that they had a small part of that. So I just want to say thank you to the members of the Long Range Planning Committee. I'm just so happy that we could see that hard work and our community support that for our students. I did attend the Community Leadership Committee meeting, which was today. This is again a group of community members that come together to advocate for our school district. Our special guest today was Representative Sam Harless from House District 126. Strong supporter of public education. We're very grateful for the support of Representative Harless. He did let us know that there's an upcoming special session that will focus on school funding as well as vouchers. So this particular group, the CLC, really works on advocating for our school district and for public education in Texas. They're very clear that as a group, they oppose vouchers because vouchers redirect public funds from public schools to private organizations that lack the same financial and academic accountability and transparency as our public schools. So I stand by that, and I would expect that anybody who serves here on this school board also stands behind that in opposition to vouchers and in support of increasing funding for our public schools. Lastly, I started my official board visits this morning with a visit to M. Robinson Elementary School. It's such a joy to walk through those hallways, especially now that we've opened a new elementary school and given them some attendance relief. Lots of great learning happening at M. Robinson, so I look forward to visiting them again soon, as well as some of our other campuses. Thank you.
9/11 impacts all of us. One of our former colleagues who sat up here, her family had a first responder that responded that day. His name is on a plaque outside that fire station. We all have memories of someone who was there, or when we were there weeks or months just before. And probably a moment of silence are the best words we have to say about it. Since the last board meeting, I gave my standard 40 hours of service for the district, as I do almost every month. I attended one of our district football games to see the teams play, the drill team and the bands perform, cheerleaders rousing the fans in the stands, but also as the voice of Cy-Fair, Butch Milks, was honored by Athletic Director Flores, her predecessor Ray Cepeda, of course the Superintendent Mark Henry, and many others for many decades, not years, decades, and I do mean several, given by Butch to this district. Once again this year, I was part of Bus Buddies for the first 2 days of school, greeting the children as they came on, but also helping to check their slips to make certain they were on the right bus, and being a second pair of eyes for the bus driver that the children had an adult who they recognized as they left the bus. I always volunteer at feast where my children attended and was joined by members of Cornerstone Methodist Church, of which I was a founding member. A shout out to my bus driver. She already had her route memorized. She even had half the names of the students memorized because she could see their photos and their names with the software available to our drivers. Also, and Mr. Scanlon pointed this out as well, not tonight, but earlier, that the new software with the maps, all of a sudden, you know exactly where you're going. She didn't need the map on the screen. I did. She had the route memorized. This past weekend, I was in Colorado for my granddaughter's birthday party and flew back just in time for the dedication of the Fine Arts Building and the Mark Henry Administration Building. Board members from 3 different districts were present, as were several of my current colleagues, and I appreciate that attendance. We dedicated this building to honor this man who has guided us through one natural crisis after another. He shouldered the stress of leadership and never let it drop to those around him. He inherited the culture of a small town and added the concept of family, which he nurtured. It was in this climate where those around him could grow and flourish so that their reach could exceed their grasp. He did this not only for staff, but he made certain that his influence was felt by board members. Not many are aware that his concept of incrementalism brought this district to 3 years of A ratings. We applaud one year of A ratings. The Commissioner of Education told me, you know, Tom, if your district had opted to be rated that year, you would have had a strong A rating. But the superintendent, who does not believe in ratings, did not want to grab that A and chose instead to adopt a no rating stance. And then, of course, there was the other year that we had an A rating, and they changed the rules. And because we had about 4 or 5 students at one of our campuses of many opportunities who did not quite answer enough questions, that A was dropped down to an 89, which was the highest grade. But in reality, as the commissioner would tell us, we had 3 consecutive A ratings. It doesn't happen by accident. It does happen by incrementalism. This is the time of campaigns, and all candidates will have to find something to argue why they should be elected, and I have no doubt that we will hear that this is a failed district or a failing district or we are failing students. Nothing could be farther from the truth. And I appreciate the leadership that you have shown, Mark. You're still here for several more months, so this is not your swan song, but merely recognition of a building. A minor note off script, I couldn't help but think about the symbolism. The building with his name on it, the letters are relatively small, and it's hidden from the street, and instead you see our Fine Arts Building, where the name of the district are in letters outrageously large. And you really can't even see his name from the highway. But your mark is there, and it's appreciated. On behalf of this entire board and the superintendent, Mark Henry, I said thank you with words and a special certificate to the approximate 4,000 invisibles who gave service during the early days of COVID. This included the approximate 2,000 employees of transportation services, delivering students with dreams, the 1,200 employees of nutritional services who serve food and love equal with care, and the 850 employees of custodial services who diligently cleaned floors, tabletops, walls, banisters in the hallways, the classrooms, and the bathrooms, not only before and after school, but during school. While the kids were in class, they went out and cleaned the entire school again. That effort cannot be overstated. For this last group, I chose to personally meet with each and every one of them, shake their hand, give them the certificate, and say to them, thank you. These invisibles are critical to the success of our campuses and are the largest reason why we never had to close a single campus because of COVID, unlike many of our neighboring districts and other large districts around the state. In addition to expressing my appreciation in detailing some of the reasons, and I spoke in my very bad Spanish and my not so good English to each group, I did ask each of them a favor, and Natalie, you might get a little kick out of this, although you did hear me say it on mic. And so what I had to say to each of them, por favor, no les digas mi abuelo que mi español es tan malo. Please do not tell Granddad that my Spanish is so bad. he would be so incredibly disappointed in me now. And so tonight, I tip my hat to the invisibles who wake before we do and work while we rest for the benefit of our children and our staff. The reports portion of the agenda was presented at the board work session on Thursday, September 7th, 2023. We do have a speaker tonight for item 3A before I call the speaker up. On Thursday, we worked until 12:20 some odd. We finally were able to walk out at 12:42 in the morning. I will guarantee you this board meeting will finish the same day that we start on. Mr. Secretary, are you prepared?
We're ready.
Okay. We have one speaker, Jennifer Chanette.
A candidate running for the board has spoken openly about firing the new superintendent without even knowing who they are. If this isn't a major red flag, I don't know what is. I've been to a lot of board meetings. It's interesting that there are people who should be showing up, really aren't, until tonight and the last meeting. I was at the 10-plus hour board meeting back in June. I listened to the presentations by the two search firms. This process takes months of hard work and costs more than $30,000. School boards are supposed to be nonpartisan. We know that is no longer the case. The Republican Party used to care about family values, law and order, morality, and fiscal responsibility. They don't anymore. How fiscally responsible is it to spend $30,000 and then start the hiring process all over again? What excellent candidate is going to accept the job when they know their neck could be on the chopping block? Don't be fooled. That's exactly the point. Let's leave the district afloat and rudderless. If just one more far-right candidate makes it onto this board, they will attempt to handpick their own superintendent. The reasoning behind all of this is that they didn't vote for the new superintendent when they had minority control. How does this new candidate know how the newer board trustees plan to vote in regards to Dr. Henry's replacement? Well, guess what, brain surgeons? If we still manage to have some sane people on the board, they won't be in agreement about the firing and hiring of yet another superintendent. And around we go. What a stupid waste of time and money. But that doesn't really matter, right? Because it's all about power and control. Beware and vote. The future of our district depends on it.
We will now proceed with the action items portion of the agenda. Action items 4A and 4C through 4I were moved to consensus during the board work session on Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Action item 4B was removed from the agenda. Action items 4J through 4M remained on non-consensus. 4A, the board will consider approving the minutes of the August 7th, 2023 regular board meeting. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. 4C, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. The two subtopics, CKC Local Safety Program, Risk Management Energy Plans Revise. Item 2, CPC Local Office Management Records Management Revise. 4D, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and/or authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. There are 4 subtopics. 4D1, assorted non-food items for nutrition services 2023. 4D2, bakery dough sheeting line for nutrition services. 4D3, MAP growth enrollment for the 2023-2024 school year. 4D4, waste management services. 4E, the board will consider approving the 2023-2024 Cypress-Fairbanks ISD School Code of Conduct. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. 4F, the board will consider approving the issuance of a career and technical education teaching permit to an applicant in lieu of standard teaching certifications as established in law. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. 4G, the board will consider authorizing the superintendent to execute a memorandum of understanding with Texas Tech University for school psychology graduate student practicum training. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. 4H, the board will consider authorizing the superintendent to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Lamar University for field experience in the American Sign Language interpreting program. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. 4I, the board will consider approving an affiliation agreement with the University of Texas at Arlington Baccalaureate and Graduate Nursing Program to provide clinical placements in CFISD school clinics to fulfill the curriculum requirements in collegiate registered nurse RN degree programs. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. Now, if any board member wishes to remove one or more of these items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
Mr. President, I move that the board approves the consensus items as recommended.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Motion has been made and seconded. It is now appropriate for discussion on any of these topics at this time. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I will now call for a vote. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Holly, it is unanimous. Thank you. The following action items remain on non-consensus. 4J, the board will consider making a determination that good cause did not exist as required by law for Derek Florid, Jamie Gonzalez, Akil Irving, Zinna Alimeh, and Esther Savet to resign their respective employment contracts. This item was discussed in closed session on Thursday. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. I will entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
President Jackson, my document reads a name Brittany Impert. I did not hear. Okay, it was still on mine. Okay, very good. Just wanted to check.
Okay, I'll do it. Mr. President, I move that the board makes the determination that good cause did not exist as required by law for Derek Flora, Jaime Gonzalez, Akil Irving, Zinhab Alame, and Esther Sveter to resign their respective employment contracts.
Motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. The vote is unanimous. Holly. "4K, the board will consider and take action on the independent hearing examiner's recommendation in TEA docket number 062-LH-05-2023 regarding the proposed discharge of Rick Barrett. This item will be discussed in closed session pursuant to section 551.074. We will have a hearing in closed session and then return to open session where action will be taken. Are we prepared to go ahead and commence with closed session hearing?
Would you like to finish the rest of the open session agenda, and then we can convene to close, and then just come back for the one session? That way our...
That is my preference.
Okay, yes,
Thank
sir,
you.
we can do that.
4L, the board will consider approving a resolution to declare a good cause exception for House Bill 3, Armed Security Officer Requirement. This item was discussed in closed session pursuant to section 551.076 of the Texas Government Code on Thursday. There are no speakers on this topic this evening. I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve a resolution to declare a good cause exemption for House Bill 3 Armed Security Officer Requirement.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this topic? Hearing none, I will now call for a vote. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Holly, the motion is unanimously passed. "4M, the board will consider a Level 4 appeal of Burton Tobias of a Level 3 decision. This item was discussed in closed session pursuant to 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. It will be further discussed in closed session this evening. Action was taken on agenda items 5A and 5C at the board work session on Thursday, September 7th, 2023. We do have the following speakers.
I was just going to say 5B was removed, and it's not coming back, possibly until next time.
Thank you. So 5B is off the table. The discussion portion of the agenda was reviewed in closed session during the board work session on Thursday, also September 7th. We will now proceed with the citizen participation portion of the agenda. 7A, per BED, local patrons may address the board during the regular board meeting under citizen participation on any matters of interest or concerns that are not posted agenda items. Individuals may only register to speak one time per meeting and must register in advance. Just a reminder, patrons who have registered to speak this evening may see the order of their names listed on the screen behind me. Before your name is called, please move forward and sit in one of the 2 reserved seats on the front row. Mr. Secretary, are you ready with the time?
We're ready.
Our first speaker this evening is Philip Suarez. Philip Suarez. Our second speaker this evening is Leslie Gilmart.
Cypress Families for Public Schools would like to thank the community for watching our CFISD Trustee Candidate Forum. Over 90 people attended in person, and so far 1,300 have viewed from home. At CFPS, we expect a CFISD School Board trustee to have shown commitment over time to all children's education, to have knowledge of how the district is run, and to invest in always learning more and serving all students. After a thorough review process that included 2 votes of our Board of Directors, Cypress Families for Public Schools is proud to endorse the all-4 CFISD slate in the November trustee election. Julie Heineman, Francis Ramirez Romero, Leslie Martone, and Tanya Jaggi are longtime CFISD parents and volunteers who have a history of showing up for our students and staff. The 5 pillars of their platform anchor them in what is most important for our schools. Thanks to their volunteerism, professional skills, and business acumen, these proud CFISD moms have what it takes to lead in our district. With 4 seats on our school board up for election this November, we the voters can be heroes who ensure that opportunity for all students stays as the heart of CFISD. If just 1 seat is won by a candidate endorsed and funded by outside political parties and PACs, then we risk losing the board to those focused on all the wrong things. We must vote smart this November and put CFISD students first. The all-4 CFISD candidates are servant leaders in our community. They are working tirelessly to earn your vote and have already proven their commitment to our schools. Neighbors, if you want trustees who show up, then vote all for CFISD.
Our next speaker is Deborah Tate.
I'm here to answer the burning question as to why Cyfair Independent School District cannot recruit and retain bus drivers and teachers. I have recommended several people to transportation, but those individuals that need to work, at times it has taken months for any type of contact once the application is submitted, thereby losing good people to other jobs and or districts. Some of the drivers that are currently driving and some that have left are physically and mentally fatigued. The supervisors that are driving full routes are having to work till 8 or 9 o'clock on weekends to get their work done. They also are burnt out. Some having to start the day at 5 a.m., work till 8 or 9, and work weekends. In summary, accidents, short tempers, medical issues, and mistakes can easily happen. There seems to be a stigmatism that has been adopted by certain parents and administrative staff within the district that goes hand in hand with the disrespect and rudeness that's encountered. With the understanding as to why the routes are built so tight, accommodating for the shortages, it should be understood the drivers are also people and do need from time to time to enter the schools. Again, understanding the security, walking from the loading zone in the back of the school to the front of the school to be buzzed in to use the restroom is counterproductive for them to stay close on time. The communication from the top down is so poor that the rumor mill knows about it before it hits the press.
I truly understand the chain of command, being a 21-year Army vet and a 17-year bus driver. Discipline needs to be addressed in all the schools, and one of the primary reasons for teachers and driver shortages.
Our next speaker is Jennifer Chanette.
Today is the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. I was still living in New Jersey at the time. My husband was working in North Jersey, an hour away from the Twin Towers. That morning was beautiful. There was a chill in the air, and the sky was so very blue. I took my 6-month-old son and my 2-year-old son for a walk with our dog. We came home, I turned on the TV, and I watched the second tower fall. Almost 3,000 people died that day. 700 people from my tiny state were lost. What happened after that? This country came together. There was unity and solidarity. People cared about each other. We were the United States of America. Unfortunately, we have fallen so far. Just look at the attack on our own Capitol on January 6th by our own citizens. We even have a board trustee who considers himself ultra MAGA. We have to try and find our way back. But that won't happen by destroying public education. That won't happen by creating Natalie's standing committees comprised of certain citizens. That's called an echo chamber. We already have Fox News for that. That won't happen by shoving far-right Christian nationalism down people's throats. That won't happen if we let white supremacy, racism, homophobia, and transphobia take over our local school boards. The Southern Poverty Law Center says that it's easy to recognize the hater in a white sheet and pointy hat for what they are. It's the wolf in sheep's clothing that's harder to identify. A wolf doesn't always see themselves as a wolf. I am keeping an eye on those wolves, and everyone else should too. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mark Golaby. Our next speaker is Cleveland Lane.
There we go, right there. Greetings to everyone. I'm Dr. Cleveland Lane, Jr., and I have to say I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the board. I'm here before you because I was at the dedication yesterday, and one of the things that I am very big on, I have a science background, but I'm very big on the arts. And one of the things that all my kids know is that they have to participate in the arts within middle school, and after that, it's up to them. But because I know what the arts do for children in their development, it's very important for them to have those opportunities. And I saw that truly when we were sitting there listening to the orchestra and the choir, so how beautiful they were singing together and working together as a very diverse group, understanding that they're all for one individual goal, is to make sure everybody smile and relax at that moment. I personally want to tell you, the board and previous boards, thank you for all the work that has been put together. And I have to tell the superintendent, thank you for all the work that you've could, because you've really shown opportunity for all. And we want to keep making sure that we continue going forward with that. Thank y'all again. Y'all have a good day.
I will now entertain a motion to move into closed session.
Mr. President, I move that the board goes into closed session.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. It is now 7:35, and we will go into closed session. The board is now ready to reconvene in open session and take action. I will entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. It is 8:13. We are now in open session. We have two items that we need to take action on this evening in open session. First, we will deal with item 4K. The board will consider and take action on the independent hearing examiner's recommendation, EEA docket number 062-LH-05-2023, regarding the proposed discharge of Rick Barrett. This item was discussed in closed session pursuant to Section 551.074. Do I hear a motion on this item?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Trustees of Cypress-Fairbanks ISD adopt the findings of fact and conclusions of law submitted by the independent hearing examiner, including the determination of good cause for the termination of the continuing contract of Rick Barrett as a teacher at Cypress Falls High School.
Motion has been made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. It is now appropriate for any further discussion on this topic. Hearing none, I will now call for a hand vote. All those who are in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by raising your right hand. It passes unanimously. Mr. Secretary, please record that. The next item that we have in open session to be dealt with this evening is item 4M. The board will consider a level 4 appeal, Burton Tobias, of a level 3 decision. This item was discussed in closed session pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, both on Thursday and on this evening. I will now entertain a motion on this matter.
Mr. President, I move that the board uphold the level 3 decision.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion on this matter? Hearing none, I will now call for a hand vote. All in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by raising your right hand. The motion carries unanimously. Mr. Secretary, please record that vote. That concludes the business that we have for this evening. I would like to thank everyone for being here tonight. I would also like to thank those who are watching from home. We have already approved all non-consensus items. I remember that. You made the motion. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting the same day that it started.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. We are adjourned. How about that? Same day.